What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 39 of Control the Narrative. We are filming this minutes after the Portland Trailblazers have defeated the Dallas Mavericks behind Damian Lillard's 61 points. So I have a lot of energy right now. I'm still kind of shaking and just trying to calm down, really. You know, I said we were going to record this at 9:30, and I had to tell my guest that I'll introduce in a minute that we'll push it back to 9:45 because I wasn't able to talk. My mind was everywhere, and it's still not where it should be, but we're bringing people to content. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guy, James. James, how you doing?
Yo, what's going on, bro? How you feeling, man? Like you just said, I'm on edge right now. Yes, I'm happy to be here, though. Amazing to be here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's up, people?
Yeah, so before we really get into it, for people who don't follow you on Twitter or don't know you from Control Game Night or anything like that, why don't you give us like a 60-second backstory of your NBA fandom, Melo fandom, however you want to take it?
Okay, it's cool. My @ name is LiveFreeJP. My name is James. People have been calling me JP for years. I'm a former athlete myself. I played at D2 level. I'm still playing here and there, but you know, those days are done.
Basketball.
Yes, basketball. Yes, basketball. Like I was saying, still play here and there, but you know, just for cardio these days. But my Melo fandom started a long time ago. I think I was in 8th grade. He was in 10th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was in 10th. This is he played at some high school tournament. This was pre-Oak Hill, by the way. Before he went to Oak Hill, he played at some tournament in Baltimore. My AAU coach brought me there to watch, you know, the higher ups, the level up. So I was there watching. I'm like, yo, who is this guy? Just real smooth, laughing, always a smile. That's what really started my fandom, because that's how kind of I am on the court. Like, nothing really fathers me. I laugh. It is what it is. Have a good game, I'm laughing. Have a bad game, I'm laughing. I'm going to let it fly. So that's the same kind of MO he had, and that's what drew me to him initially. And I'm like, yo, who is this guy? Yeah, that's Carmelo Anthony, blah, blah, blah. Ever since then, I've been a fan. I've been following him through Oak Hill after that. And, of course, Syracuse and on to the NBA. And I'll never forget that day. It was just a real big day. And he had 39 that day. Marcus Hatton, they went to St. John's. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He was on the team with him as well. Yeah, he had about 40. He went off that game. But, yeah, ever since that day, I've been a Melo fan. Haven't stopped since.
Followed him through and throughout, from New York, Denver. Well, Denver, New York, you know what I mean. Word.
Yeah, definitely.
Respect. So this is long overdue, for sure. What also is long overdue is these Blazer games that they end with the other team taking the lead, and they just fuck it. Like, let's hear your reaction to the game that just ended less than an hour.
Oh man, I mean, I'm a Knicks fan, so I we haven't since the Melo days. Actually, haven't had these meaningful games. So like I've been on, I'm sure you was, so I was on my seat, and sometimes it's stressful because honestly speaking, we shouldn't have been in that predicament for that game. So the Blazers I'm speaking of. So I just feel like, I mean, Dame and Melo bailed us out. Especially Dame. Lord have mercy, man. That guy in his prime, he's different.
Crazy.
Different. He is different, Steve. He's different, man.
Yeah. I was talking to some people. I was getting like texts, like talking to my mom about it. Like, this dude, I think he's one of the best players I've ever watched play. Like, I think he's getting to that level where, like, forget about the points. We know he could unite his assists. He plays better defense than people give him credit for. The leadership, and just he has no weakness. He can score like, all right, fuck it. We'll get into the scoring. He could score from 35 feet. He can score from 28 feet. He can score in the paint. He can score mid. Like, there's nothing this dude can't do offensively. And yeah, so that's Dame. But the reaction to this game, exactly like what you said, and we'll get a little more into it, but they were winning. The Mavericks came back. It was never a blowout. They had a chance. I think they were up like 8. They had a chance to extend it late in the third. Porzingis hit a couple threes. Porzingis was great tonight. I hate to fucking admit that. But it's the same shit over and over. And I guess that leads us into the first topic about as long as Portland keeps it close, their late game heroics will carry them. What do you think about that? Do you think they'll be able to keep up this just late game, these hitting the back of the rim, going 15 feet in the air and dropping back in? Like, what do you think about?
I mean, the mature me and the logical me says no, obviously, but the hooper in me says yes, because they're on a run right now that's like led by Dame, obviously. That mentality, the leadership, the focus. I just feel like they're getting. I'm pretty sure we'll get into that a little bit later as well. Like, their defense is one of the reasons why they're in this in the first place. But offensively, I just feel like they feel like they're on another level than everybody, and that's led by Dame. Like, he obviously sets the tone, and he feels like we are out of no game. If we do ever get down, we're not out of no game. Like, we're like they went down, I believe you said 8, and I think it was, and I never questioned anything. Like, I was like, it's definitely gonna be a game. Like, they're not gonna run. Like, yeah, it is what it is.
Right.
I do feel like, to tag on that other point a little bit, I feel like Dame, you're definitely not outreaching it by saying Dame's one of the best players you ever seen. I made this argument with a few of my friends yesterday, and especially for somebody his size, because, usually when you're that size, it's tough to lead a team. Like, you can be a quick single point guard, or you can be a spark and give you 25, 30. But he is flat out leading. And that's why I feel like Melo doesn't want to let him down. Because Melo feel like he didn't have nobody when he was in his prime to hold him down the way Melo can hold Dame down on the type of level. And he feels like, yo, this man is in his prime. And I'm going to be that one for him, because I never had that. And I'm going to make sure, like, I'm not going to get in his way, but trust and believe. Like, if you need me to help you close, like, I'm here. Like,
I like that.
Yeah, I feel like that's the truth.
Because you look at a guy like JR, who Melo relied on, because, like, who the fuck else was he going to rely on? And more often than not, he did not come up, especially in, like, the clutch situations. Like, sure, he had a couple game winners and shit like that, but overall, when looking at the macro, JR just wasn't there. So I actually love that. I never thought about that, like, Melo not having somebody, so him kind of being that somebody and not trying to let him down and not letting him down. He's hit such timely threes, man. Such timely threes.
Super timely.
Playing great fucking defense that who knows if they're going to talk about that. I doubt they'll talk about that tomorrow, but a couple really great plays defensively. And, yeah, I love that. So, as far as their late game heroics carrying them, it's hard to say they will not be able to sustain that, but, like, we've seen it time and time again. But at the same time, we saw it not work with the Clippers game. And I think there was like a 0.1% chance that Damian Lillard was going to miss both of those free throws and then miss that 3 at the end of the game. So I think more often than not, it will carry them into the games, but you're playing with such a slight
playing with fire, man.
You're playing with fire, and there's such a slight room for error when you're playing. It doesn't even matter who you're playing at that point. Like, we saw it versus Philly, they were playing pretty much the bench, and that was a close game. But when you go against those Laker teams and the Clippers, again, that was the bench squad. But it's so tough to sustain that, and they got to learn how to just focus in that third quarter, at the end of the third quarter, in the beginning of the fourth quarter, so that they don't have to overcome a 6-point deficit with 4 minutes left, like they've done multiple times. But even if it's just not for the probability of them winning, just for us, putting us through that shit, man.
That's what I'm about to say. Stop stressing us. Worst come to worst, like, just stop. Like,
I got a text from my guy Chris after the game. He said, take me to the hospital, and it was crazy. Like, my mom came in, like, I can't even watch the game. Like, I just checked the score. My mom's a big basketball fan. She just checks the score because it's so fucking stressful to watch these games. So, yeah, that shit is something else. I just, take that 5-point lead, make it a 10-point lead. Take that 10-point lead, make it a 15-point lead. And, it won't come down to shots hitting the back of the rim, going 15 feet in there and dropping back in.
Yeah, and prayers answered.
Yeah, yeah. Another kind of off-topic thing. Are you superstitious with this shit at all?
Kind of. I mean, I wouldn't say, you know, I mean, it'll make or break a game, but I do think it plays a role.
Yeah. Like, what do you
Yeah.
do? What are some of your? Are you like sitting in one spot? Like, what do you do?
Like, I'm always standing up. From 6 minutes on, I stood up today, and that's usually how it goes. Right in front of the TV, phone in my hand, stand up, minimum of 2 feet away. And I mean, like, I don't think that's gonna make them win, but somehow, like, it's just me. It's me doing
You
my part.
feel it.
Yeah, it's me doing my part.
Exactly, bro. I'm the same way. Like, I watched the first half downstairs in my living room, and the second half started, and they were slipping a little bit. I'm like, all right, let me go back upstairs. So I came back upstairs, and I was just like, all right, to my room. I was like, this is good. My lips were mad chapped, and I was like, I can't put lipstick back on. Lipstick, holy fuck.
Nah, bro, I knew what you meant, bro.
I can't put chapstick back on because they're on a little stretch right now. So if I put chapstick back on, obviously Damian Lillard will start missing these shots, and it won't be a good defense. So it's just man, I get like that during baseball playoffs. I'm a big Yankee fan, so you know every fucking pitch is crazy in the playoffs. So I get like that with that, and honestly, it feels kind of good because as Knicks fans and Melo fans, we haven't had many games to like stress over.
That's what I was saying. It felt so raw, like raw energy. Like I really haven't felt that since 2013. So like I'm like, wow, it's major.
And like the only thing I could think of is that OKC playoff series, but even that, I don't know. I just feel like this is different.
It is different.
I feel alive, and either way, man, like they won this game. Obviously, we're sitting here smiling, talking about it. Even like the Clippers game, obviously that shit sucked, but just the fact that like this shit is just something exciting for us to watch, and something matters for the first time as a Knicks fan, as a Melo fan in years. So it's been nice.
Yeah, same here, man.
Yeah. So let's go on to the next narrative. I kind of switched it up a little. Instead of just having topics, I figured it would make more sense to have a narrative, and then you talk about whether you agree with it or not. So what do you think about this narrative? The Blazers would be undefeated in the bubble. So they're 5-2 right now. They would be 7-0 with Trevor Ariza in the lineup.
I disagree with that narrative, but it's a fine line. I actually like. I don't know how so I'm really open to discussion, and I'd love to see what you think as well. Yeah. I feel like Trevor would definitely help us defensively on the perimeter, which is obviously what we need because Dame and CJ is relatively small. So is Gary Trent off the bench. He's relatively small too. So like I feel like wings and guards have field days with us a lot. So I definitely feel like Trevor would help with that, but I don't feel like the maturation of Gary Trent would have happened if Trevor was here. So like I feel like which one should I take? You know, the little steady perimeter defense or the unbelievable shit like Gary Trent. We ain't really talking about that, but that man he ain't have such a huge game tonight, but he's been flamethrower this whole bubble. So like I'm on the fence. Like I don't know because I'm a huge Trevor Ariza fan too, but I really don't think Gary Trent blossoms like that if Trevor's here. So I don't really know. Yeah, but I do think he would have helped tonight, though. We would have probably, you know what I mean? It wouldn't have been as close. We wouldn't have had the stress tonight if Trevor was there. I would say that.
Yep. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Like, you know, him taking into Trent's minutes and like his shots and all that. I'm just going to go through and read the amount of points they've given up over the past few games. 131 tonight to the Mavericks. 121 to the Sixers, the other game. 122 to the Clippers, 115 to the Nuggets, 102 to the Rockets. That's actually not that bad. 128 to the Celtics, and then the Grizzlies game went into overtime, but they let up 134. But I mean,
these numbers are a little inflated because of the bubble. Everybody's scoring,
right.
But that's ridiculous.
Right. And I think the thing is, like, great point with Gary Trent not blossoming like that. You know, he's been the best shooter in the bubble so far. Tonight. Not a huge game, and the other night he didn't really have a huge game either. But just overall, he's been outstanding. I think they would be just because their losses were so close. It's not like they lost by like 10 points, even like 8. They lost against the Celtics by 4 and the Clippers by 5. So very close. And I just feel like you said, his perimeter defense, that's the one thing you could say that they're missing is that perimeter defense. Yes. They have guys in the paint defensively. Offense, we know that's not a fucking problem. They have multiple dudes who can get a shot. And when CJ starts picking that shit up, that kind of it makes them even scarier. So I think since both losses were so close, Ariza would have had some imprint on that game defensively, and he's actually a pretty good shooter too. So I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
He probably wouldn't be putting up Gary Trent numbers so far, but he definitely would be hitting some threes. And I just think his length, man, like you said, there's a bunch of smaller guards. CJ's not the biggest, and like even a 3, right? You got Hazonia coming, and then sometimes he's a dude who frustrates the hell out of me because he'll have stretches where he looks fucking amazing, knocking down threes.
Mario, you're talking about, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he looks great on both ends, and then he'll come down and do some stupid shit like he took a 3 on a fast break. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like some stupid shit. So you replace Hazonia's minutes with Ariza. Sure, that cuts into Trent's minutes a little bit, and I don't know, maybe it cuts into Zach Collins' minutes a little bit. Yeah. So that's what I think. I think they would be 7-0 if they had Ariza.
Okay.
Also, I'm looking at the box score. McCollum 2 for 14 tonight.
I heard he had a back issue. Did you hear that?
I did not. You heard that after the game?
Yeah, after the game. I retweeted it. They said he had a back issue, and I'm like, okay, makes sense because I never seen him this.
Right.
Yeah, it was bad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did not know that. No. All right. So since the last episode, Melo moved into 15th place on the all-time scoring list, passing John Havlicek and Paul Pierce. We know he missed 12 months of basketball, and in reality, he'd be 9th right now. So this narrative, what do you think about this? Melo will finish top 10 in scoring all time.
Easily. I think if I'm not mistaken, if he averaged 14 points the next 2 seasons, that's a book, right? If I'm not mistaken.
So I wrote down a couple stats here. He needs 902 points for 10th place and 998 for 9th. Pretty much 56 games of what he's done this season to crack the top 10.
Oh yeah, book it. It's actually gonna be easier than I thought. Because I definitely see 2 seasons for Melo left. Easy. I mean, who knows? Hopefully more. Then again, but I definitely feel the way he's playing, the way in the shape that he's in. 2 seasons, definitely. And I definitely don't see his production dropping under 12 a game, no matter where he's in NBA. So I think that's pretty safe.
Yeah. All right. That was kind of easy. What about 8th? Because right now, that's Shaq. He is 2,185 behind Shaq for 8th place all time. In order to do that, he would need to have 142 games of what he's averaged this season to get 8th all time. 142 games of 15 points per game.
That's a little tougher. 2 seasons. That's a little tougher because I can't forecast him physically after this next season. You know what I mean? With Father Time is undefeated. I'll tell you that firsthand, bro. So I can't really forecast it after this season. I'm pretty sure he'll be able to put up what he put up this year next season, but the year after that, I can't say that. So definitely top 10, touching Shaq. I don't know. Hopefully.
Let's put on the record, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Never go against Melo, man.
Never. I believe so too, just because not that he'll average 15 points a game for the next 2 years, but let's say it goes down to 14 next season, and let's say the season after, let's just say it goes down to 12. We both can agree that he has at least 2 years left. If he plays a 3rd year, even if he puts up fucking 10 a game, that would still, I think, be enough. I don't have the calculations on hand, but I still think that would be enough. So I'm going to go with yes. I think he will finish 8th all time. There's a pretty big difference between 8th and 9th. I think it's like 1,000 points. So that's pretty much the highest he's going to go. Could have been top 7, 6 all time if it wasn't for bitch ass Daryl Morey, who everyone keeps talking about. I tweet him all the time, like
I live for it too, by the way, bro. I live for
you
it
what?
too, by the way. I live for you and your shots at Daryl Morey. I live for it, bro.
Always, man. Always. People are like, yo, how the fuck has he not blocked you yet? And I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that, but cool. So we both think he's gonna finish top 8, which at the end of the day, top 8 scorer of all time.
Hey man,
it's
tough. Yeah, it's tough.
So this narrative, curious to get your opinion on it after tonight. But what do you think of the narrative that Whiteside's defense has been an issue in the bubble?
An issue as far as good or bad? Like, what do you mean?
Bad.
An issue like bad? I disagree, man. I feel like Whiteside needs to be a steady part of the rotation and our offense and defense in general. I feel like Whiteside held us down before Nurkic came back, and I feel like he could be a super viable option even with Nurkic. I feel like tonight, I feel like Whiteside should have got a bulk of the minutes, and I feel like even when Nurkic fouled out, I felt like a little more comfortable and just maybe rim protection and rebounding. I don't have a problem with Whiteside's defense at all. You know, he had a little fouls, but I feel like I'm living with it. I think he had 3 blocks tonight. When he gets switched out on guards, I don't know. I feel more comfortable than Nurkic. Like when Nurkic gets switched out on guards, I don't know. I feel like it's food, but Whiteside can keep them in front of him a little bit. I don't know. I just feel like he needs to be a part. I love Nurkic and he's obviously the starter, but I feel like I'm okay with Whiteside, and I don't know where that narrative came from.
Yeah. The narrative came from a lot of people talking about his motivation, his engine, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see where they're coming from in terms of that. I don't think his defense is an issue. I think that it's more his engine and his motivation. And like he finished the game tonight and he played really good defense. Like there was that play, somebody went backdoor and he was there to kind of not break it up, but like protect the rim. So little things like that, like he's huge. He's huge. He finished with 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks in 19 minutes.
2 blocks, okay.
So,
yeah.
I wouldn't say his defense is an issue. I think that when he is locked in and motivated and everything, that is such a tough look for other teams. Coming off the bench, you have dude who just fucking led the league in blocks.
Yes, it's dangerous, man. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous.
And then you have that option of like Nurk fouls out. Most of the time when you're starting center fouls out, you're like, fuck, now we're gonna have to go with the backup. The backup is again the dude who just was leading the league in blocks. So I wouldn't say his defense is an issue. Sometimes I worry about his motor and his just motivation. He just seems like, I don't know, he's just out there, and I feel like he's almost not trying for whatever reason. So I don't know. I feel worried about that a little bit.
I mean, Terry Stotts should keep him engaged because we will need him against the Lakers. Because like I feel like Whiteside, we will need him against the Lakers. Nurkic against the Lakers bigs cause a little bit of issues, and I feel like just keep him involved, Terry. That's it, man. Just keep him involved.
Yep. Great fucking point, by the way. And we're gonna go with when we're gonna speak it into existence. When Portland goes up against the Lakers in that first round, he's fucking huge. Whiteside is literally, he might be the X factor, honestly, in that series. With all those bigs, you have fucking AD, JaVale, Dwight, Nurk. He's tall and shit, but I don't know if he can guard those guys. Maybe AD Nurk is a better look defensively, but Whiteside is going to be fucking huge.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
All right. That was all the narratives I have. Since the Blazers are now in the 8th spot, they control their own destiny. So they win Thursday night against Brooklyn. They have the 8th spot, and they only have to win 1 game. I think it's pretty crazy that, I don't know about you, but I came into this bubble situation thinking, stay within those 3.5 games. Let's just beat the Grizzlies twice. And Now they're the 8th spot, half game up. They beat Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's not an easy win. Like they beat teams
They're
like
not, man.
they're fighting, which is surprising. I remember when I first saw the schedule, the Blazers schedule is like, all right, at least the last game is a guaranteed win. Like no KD, Kyrie, like pretty much the whole team is gone. Karis LeVert balling out, and they got some other guys who are doing their thing over there. So if you could take your pick out of these 3 teams that the Blazers are going to face, and I think I heard somebody after the game, like one of the commentators, say that the Blazers have guaranteed a play-in spot. I don't think that's true because they're half a game up.
I don't think so either.
They're half a game up on the Grizzlies, Suns, and Spurs. So if they lose and like those teams, I don't know where that came from. They have not guaranteed a spot in the play-in tournament yet. I'm pretty sure they asked Dame about it. They said you guaranteed a spot in the play-in. I don't know. Either way, if you could pick the team you want to face the most and the team you least want to face out of the Grizzlies, Suns, and Spurs, how would you rank those 3 in terms of I want the Blazers to play this team and I do not want the Blazers to play this team, or I would prefer it less.
I would prefer for the Blazers to play Memphis. I want them to play Memphis. I feel like Ja's amazing. I feel like he's getting a little too much flowers early on, but that's neither here nor there. He's an amazing player.
I agree.
Yeah, but he's an amazing player though. I'm taking none away from him, but yeah. And with Jaren Jackson being hurt, I just feel like we'll handle business one shot, get them out of here. I want no parts of Devin Booker. I want no parts of the Suns at all. He's obviously not Dame, but I feel like he controls the game the same way Dame controls the game. Like you said, he scores from all 3 levels, and just the fact that everything moves on his time. So and the way they're playing around him, supporting him, I want no parts of the Suns. Actually think that's who will get the 9th seed though. But that's why I don't want no parts of.
Same. So you would rank it. You want to play the Grizzlies, Spurs second, and then Suns last. Okay.
Yes.
I had the same exact order. I think the Grizzlies, obviously, they've won 1 or 2 games in this bubble. Jaren Jackson being out is a huge fucking blow for them. And the Spurs, I would not want to face them just because Pop, you can't underestimate him. Devin Booker, man, holy shit. They are fucking firing on all cylinders right now. And I would be nervous. Honestly, I would be nervous to go against them.
Me too.
With the Grizzlies. And the Blazers would only have to win 1 game, but still the Suns are 7-0.
Yeah,
which is wild. So here's kind of how things shake up. Blazers are half game up for that 8th spot. Do any of the teams play tomorrow? No. So all the teams are going to play on Thursday. The Grizzlies are going against Milwaukee. I think they have the 1 seed locked up, so I don't think they're playing for anything. But the Bucks still have some pretty good players.
Yeah, I was about to say their bench should take care of business still though.
Then you have the Spurs going up against Utah. So another good team.
Yeah, I can't call that. Whatever
and
happens.
Then you have Phoenix going up against Dallas.
I think Dallas chills too, so
yeah, because apparently they needed this win tonight to move up at all.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're playing for anything Thursday. And then you have Portland against the Nets. So looking at that, you think Memphis would lose to the Bucks. You think the Spurs and the Jazz, you would think the Jazz would win that, but that's obviously no foregone conclusion. And then it really all comes down to the Suns and the Mavericks. Then it's do the Mavericks play their guys? If they do, do they keep them in the whole game? Like the Clippers, they took Paul George out and a couple other players near the end, pretty much fucking giving that game to the Blazers and they fucking take it. But honestly, it looks like it's Phoenix or San Antonio, and I don't know exactly how the tiebreaker works, but that's kind of how things.
Is it head to head?
I'm not. I don't know. I know it's winning percentage first, but I don't know after that. I mean, I'm sure someone's gonna lay out all the scenarios I probably should have done that before hopping on here. But yeah, so I agree with you, man. I think I'll gladly play Memphis if I'm the Portland
Yeah.
Trailblazers. And the Suns, I think I know the Blazers can beat them 1 out of 2, but if we can't avoid them,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, because even if we do beat them, that's gonna give us it's obviously we're gonna have to put our foot down, and then we're going to the Lakers. So I want as easy sailing as possible, man.
Right. 100%. All right, James. Do you prefer people calling you JP or James?
JP, it's fine.
JP, all right, because I've been calling you James for a minute now.
No, that's cool though. But you cool though, bro. So it doesn't matter.
Cool. All right, JP. We reached the end of the podcast here. Just wanted to get on here and just fucking with all this energy that we both had after that. Woo! Honestly, I was dreading, if they lost that game and we were gonna have to come on here and talk about.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna have the frown. I'm gonna look upset. I'm like, I don't know.
I know. If we had to come on here and talk about, bro, all right, the Blazers need to beat the Nets, and then the Suns need to lose, and this team needs to lose, it would have been tough. But good thing we did not.
Yes, sir.
At the end of every episode, we allow people to control a narrative of their choice. So it doesn't have to be Melo related, doesn't have to be basketball related, doesn't have to be sports related. What is something that you want to control the narrative around, whether it's anything not having to do with sports or just something that you want to set the record straight on?
That's a good question. I mean, I wish I would have prepped for it. I would have did something outside of basketball. But we'll keep it to basketball. I want to focus on the narrative that Melo does not play defense. Can we end this some type of way? Even throughout his younger years, even before this whole he's a decent defender. Is he lock-up defender? No, he's a decent defender. Is nobody cooking him? He's a decent defender.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, I want one with that one, man.
Fair, man. Especially after tonight, a game like that.
Yes.
When he deflected that shit and threw that off the other guy, I was going. All right, JP. First of all, appreciate you hopping on kind of late night after this game with us.
Hey, man, I'm not gonna sleep, so I'm good.
Appreciate that, homie. We're gonna have his Twitter, and if you're on Instagram, I think you're on Instagram, right? We'll have that shit in the YouTube description for all you guys watching on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, head over to the YouTube description. Do you have anything else you want to plug or anything like that, or is that a wrap?
Nah, that's it, man. Everybody, like you said, my apps will be there, so you guys can reach me up. I have some content myself. I have a clothing line, Various Fashion. You can reach that on my socials. So just get at me, guys. And
we'll link that shit in the description too. So JP, appreciate it again, homie. And
yeah, man, definitely.
Let's go in that playing game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, peace, man.
All right, bro.